Hello folks, this is Giles Malone here for Space Coast Daily and SpaceCoastMedicine.com. I'm here with a very nice Oleta White from Cocoa, Florida. Oleta White, excuse me, Oleta. I got to get that right for starters. Oleta is retired from the Florida Keys, now actively retired, I guess, living in Cocoa, Florida with her husband. And Oleta, if you could tell us about your how you first came across Dr. Sprock, and what were your symptoms at the time, and how you felt she might be able to help you?
I had some complications that I was unaware of, and my daughter-in-law educated me on some surgery that she had had, and I went to see my primary care physician, who recommended me to one or two gynecological specialist. Mm-hmm. And I chose Dr. Sprock mostly because she was a female doctor, and that's what I prefer. And after I went to see her, I was just completely convinced that she's the person I wanted to do my procedure. Okay.
And what were your symptoms? What were you experiencing discomfort-wise that led you to go see Dr. Sprock?
There's a muscle, a wall between the rectal and the vaginal area that had become prolapsed for me, which means weakened, and it was not functioning the way it should. So I was having some discomfort and some difficulty with some bowel movements, and I thought it was normal. I thought it was just something that I had to live with, because that's what older women do. We just accept that part of our body. Mm-hmm. And when I found out I didn't have to tolerate that, I was very delighted.
So you did some research, and you found out who the best people were in the area?
Right.
Tell us about that.
I went on the internet, and I had heard a lot of bad press about the mesh procedure, and that there were a lot of lawsuits, and this product wasn't doing its job, and be careful. And so I educated myself. I went online and I started doing my homework, and I found out what products mm-hmm. were not reliable. Mm-hmm. And then I researched Dr. Sprock, who had a wonderful website and very, very good educational information about what the problems are and how they can be taken care of. I reviewed her certifications and her background and her training, and that's what she specializes in. That's mm-hmm. what she does. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's not just a gynecologist. Mm-hmm. This is what she does. She takes mm-hmm. care of the female vaginal, rectal anatomy, and mm-hmm. she's darn good at it.
Okay, and you went for an initial consult, and you met the girls there in the office, I guess, who were very helpful and welcoming. And then tell us about the series of tests that you went through and about how long that was.
That was over a course of several weeks. The girls in the office were very well trained and very very compassionate and mm-hmm. Very friendly. Mm-hmm. There's a series of testing that you have to go through to measure the strength of your muscles in not only the rectal area but the vaginal area. They are making sure that, number one, that if you have a problem, the problem is severe enough for the surgical correction. Mm-hmm. Is this just a small problem? Do you need physical therapy, mm-hmm. or is this something that needs to be surgically corrected? Mm-hmm. And the testing itself was not entirely unpleasant. They have a lovely little computer that has a video on it, and you have a very sensitive probe that is inserted in the vaginal and the rectal area, mm-hmm. and you have to contract your muscles and follow a schedule of exercises mm-hmm. that they can measure and determine what the severity of your complication is.
Mm-hmm. Oleta, was that uncomfortable when you were doing that testing?
Not at all. Not at all. It was in the beginning a little embarrassing, but then it became quite comical. It was very funny. I mean, you're essentially playing a video game with an unusual part of your body.
And the girls in the office made you feel very relaxed, and it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
no problem at all.
They're very charming young ladies, and they laugh with you, so it was very comfortable.
Well, very good. So I guess that was about 6 different tests you went through over about a 12-week period, so
Yes.
quite an extensive testing and research process.
Right. It's essentially a small physical therapy session that lets them know, number one, the measurement of how much damage has been done, but it also is a series of physical therapy that hopefully strengthens your muscles to let them know if the damage needs to be surgically repaired,
Okay.
or can nature take its course.
Very good. So you had the surgery at Wusthof, I think, and then under general anesthetic. Was there much discomfort right after the surgery?
No, it was very mild. I wouldn't say that it was any worse than, you know, menstrual cramps.
Wow.
You're bruised, you're a little tender, but other than that, I didn't find it to be entirely uncomfortable. And when I was had my first bowel movement after the procedure, it wasn't painful. I found it to be, quite comfortable.
Okay. So right after the surgery, you went home and you were pretty much, I understand, doing your normal daily activities, right after surgery.
Well, you have to take a little caution. You have to use common sense. I mean, you don't want to bend over and lift up the dog. You certainly don't want to be cutting the grass or mopping the floor or anything like that. But you can get up and dress yourself, and and go through your daily functions, and and get up and feed yourself. And I took it easy. I mean, I took advantage of the situation when my husband says, "Can I get that for you? Can I get that for you, dear?"
Yeah.
So
Very
if
nice.
he offers to bring me a drink, I'm going to let him.
Very nice.
But yeah, I just sat on the sofa and watched TV and just, realized that was a pretty serious procedure. It's not something that you want to take lightly, and you certainly don't want to damage it. If the doctor says don't bend and lift, do what you're told. Other than that, the comfort was minimal. I mean, the discomfort was minimal.
Right. So we're now about 12 months after the surgery, and before the surgery, I think you were having, discomfort with your bowel movements and so on. And tell us about your life now, how it's different, and how you feel Dr. Sprock has made you healthier.
Well, I was really amazed that you don't really think about it. If everything functions the way it's supposed to, you don't stop and say, "Oh, that was great." If you have to go to the bathroom and have a bowel movement, it's comforting to know that you don't have to think in advance, that there's no straining, there's no leakage, there's no prolonged activity. Your muscles are strong enough to do what the body was intended to do. Nature calls, you get the urge, you go, you get it over with, and you're done, and you didn't think about it. And what I liked about the recovery from the procedure was that it just dawned on me one day, well, this isn't as miserable as it used to be. Now I don't have the discomfort that I had before. Now I'm more relaxed, and the function is more natural.
So overall, you'd say you're very pleased you went and had the procedure, and would you recommend it to other people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just can't say enough wonderful things about Dr. Sprock and her talents, and the fact that her staff, and everyone is as kind and compassionate as they are. As I say, I researched Dr. Sprock's background and her history, and I found her to be at the top of her field. I just couldn't say enough nice things about her professionalism and her skill. And I think women who are afraid to have something like this done, or even a vaginal repair. I mean, you get prolapsed in the vaginal area as well. And I don't have that, but I'll tell you, if I had that, I wouldn't hesitate to go back to her a second time and say, this needs to be fixed. And she's just, I can't say enough wonderful things about her and her staff. And I just say, don't wait. If you have a problem, get it done.
Oleta, thank you so much for sharing this today. You're going to help many other women have the courage to move forward and have similar procedures done. So thank you so much for coming today and joining us with Space Coast Medicine.
You're welcome.
Thank you.